participants in the agro sector to make better decisions. So we have different targets at different levels. Basically, in the work package 2, that is the work package that we have, where we have focused our effort for the olive sector, we have tried to use all the climate data and climate services to support the control of an olive pest, that is the olive fly, that affects critically the sector and diminishing the productivity and the quality of the oil. Additionally to that, we have used same effort to support the productivity and the way of managing irrigation and fertilization within the sector. So basically, we have been interacting with the sector, with different people that has been providing information about what was interesting for the sector. And we have divided the key decisions that the sector has to do or must do during the production in 3 different tiers. Tier 1 is what the farmers have identified as more important decisions, tier 2 mid important decisions, and tier 3 less important decisions. And basically for them, the most interesting area was focused on pest control, fertilization, and irrigation. And those are the reasons that have moved us to focus our efforts on those areas. Basically, in the sector, they are talking mostly on short-term weather information. But we have to take into account that in Medgold, we were interested in add value using not just short-term predictions, but using either long and mid-term predictions through climate modeling. So basically, we have tried to add added value to the request that we received from the farmers. And we believe that basically, as there were no options to have long-term predictions with enough accuracy, that is one of the reasons that has moved the farmers to request basically short-term information to make the better decisions. We have developed 3 different tools. One is the Medgold ICT platform, that is a dynamic database with a very nice platform and tools that helped the user to understand what's going on in the climate area. We can get information from satellite images. We can get seasonal data from the past, and indeed models that define what's going on for the future. And we have different climate projections based on different models. So this is a very nice tool that will help the user to know what's going on, and with that information, make better decisions. This is the structure that the ICT tool or ICT platform has, and is able to acquire and use data from different sources, is able to incorporate those inputs to different modeling capacity, generate clear information that can be accessed through the platform, valid for grape and wine, for olive oil, and for wheat pasta. And so this is something that is very, very useful. The platform has been adapted to the 3 main kind of users, but basically the internals of the platform is very, very similar. Something that is important is, with the platform, the farmer is able to get information to make decisions. Then we have the second tool, that is Olivia. Olivia has focused its utilities in pest control and in optimization of the irrigation and fertilization, and is providing information and data at parcel level, incorporating for the pest control geolocated pest affection predictions with up to 4 weeks in advance, and is focused on predicting the percentage of fruit that will be affected by the pest. Additionally to that, Olivia is providing support to super intensive olive growers to optimize irrigation and fertilization. For that, is modeling the productivity, taking into account the past and the expected climate evolution for the future, what has happened in each farm in the previous years, and modeling the productivity is able to optimize how to irrigate and fertilize to get the maximum production. This tool has been tested over 400,000 hectares in the last years, more than 8 million predictions per campaign, more than 225 technicians using the tool, plus people from the Andalusian government. We are covering 8 provinces in Andalusia, and we have gone from 90 to 80% accuracy depending on the horizon we are talking about. Additionally to that, in Portugal and Extremadura, we are using Olivia to support farmers to optimize their productivity. Here, Medgold has done an additional step. With Olivia, the farmer is able to have not just information, but recommendations about how to act. So the artificial intelligence technology that is behind Olivia is able to provide recommendations of what to do. Seen the Ict platform that provides information. Now we have Olivia that is providing recommendations. And finally, we have the CASAS PBDM model that is a physiological demographic model. This is basically a quite physical model and is used to provide information about how one area will evolve in the future, taking into account the climate modeling, and is mostly targeting what a region, how a region will be affected by the olive fly pest. This is something that support political decisions, support sectorial decisions, and additionally to that is able to explain why some of the phenomena are affecting. So with the CASAS, we close the cycle. I mean, we have information, we have recommendations, and we have explanations. So Medgold has been able to complete everything to provide a service to the sector. If we go to the conclusions, basically, we have clear solutions. We are covering all the project targets. We have gone on demonstration campaigns to show how the service could be implemented. And we have a combination of solutions that provides a comprehensive set of support decision-making tools for many different stakeholders, for farmers, but either for commercialization companies, for pest control or chemical producers, for authorities. So basically, Medgold has been a pioneer in use climate data to provide the service to the agricultural sector. So please let me now share a very short demonstration of what we are doing. Just one moment, and I will try to go through Olivia. Please let me know if you are seeing my screen.
No yet, Ricardo, no yet.
No yet. Let's check. Compartir. Now
Now,
probably you are seeing
yes.
my screen.
Now, yes, I can see very well.
Perfect. This is Olivia. This is basically what the user of Olivia can see. Imagine that you are managing a co-op that has farms in this area and wants to control the pest. If you go closer, you see basically how hard the pest affection will be in 1 week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, and in 4 weeks. And this is something that we can see at parcel level. I mean, we are talking about what's going on in each of the parcels we are managing. You can see that we can have very high level of affections in the red area, mid level of affections in the yellow one. If we have green areas, like for 1 week, I remember that we had green areas. I thought so. We had low level of affection, and we can go at parcel level. So we are able to understand what to do in each farm that we have within the co-op. And it's not just the only thing we can get. We can get for each parcel information of weather and predictions. So we can have different levels of information. So basically, from here, we can have a very nice tool to understand when and where we need to apply measurements to control the pest evolution. So this is something that we have developed for technicians of a co-op or directly for the farmers. Additionally to that, with Olivia, we can go to sectorial information. For example, here we can see how the different areas in Andalusia will be affected by the pest at different horizons. We can go 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And additionally to that, we have different weather information on the right side. So again, we have a tool that is useful for the authorities to understand what's going on, to approve different treatments if needed, to pest control chemical suppliers, to understand where to focus the effort for the following weeks. So this is a very, very useful tool. And we have to understand that within this tool, we are adding all the climate and weather information that we have talked about. Olivia is using past weather data. Olivia is using predictions on short-term weather evolution, predictions on long-term climate evolution, seasonal predictions. Olivia is using geographical information. Olivia is using satellite images. So basically, we have a tool that is incorporating all the available information, managing that information through clear artificial intelligence models, and providing recommendations to act. This is something that we are showing you for pest control, but we have something very similar to optimize the productivity, keeping in mind that we can manage basically irrigation and fertilization. And from my side, this is all, and I'm fully open for any question or a comment that you could have.
Okay, after this demonstration, as said Ricardo, it is time to some question. I checked the chat, but the chat there aren't a question. So maybe you want to open your microphone and do the question. Okay, Pablo is typing in the chat.
Yes, Pablo, we are using the data that the technicians are providing from the traps. So that is something that we incorporate to the models. Although we have other models that are not using that information, and the accuracy diminishes basically between 5 to 6%. So we can use or not use that information. If we have the information, we incorporate the information to the models because the accuracy is better, but it's not an obligation. Right now, additionally to that, we are collaborating with companies that are developing and testing automatic traps to improve the service, because then we can provide service to co-ops and technicians, diminishing the need of going to the field to make the measurements directly.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. I
So
mean,
first of all, thank you. It was impressive, your presentation, and I was impressed. But yes, this is actually happening. So is people using this application? Is in a
yeah.
moment how is it already implemented? How is, for instance, in the in the cooperatives you work with, they are using these tools. Are there with the information updated and ready to, because to be used, or is something that is more in a moment of testing and it will be broader use in a later stage?
Basically, we have users. We have users right now that have contracted the tool. We have basically big companies in Portugal and Spain, and we have co-ops in Italy using Olivia. Obviously, at this stage, it's still too early to have it in an alive way, but in June, we opened the applications to provide the service from the very beginning of the campaign up to November. And I'm talking on pest control. When we are talking on irrigation and fertilization optimization, the service is starting in 2 weeks, basically. So yes, we are selling services, and those services are available for the producers. Obviously, the tool has been improved year per year, and right now it is providing very good results.
Right,
After
the tool, no?
okay. Can I speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Pablo?
Yes, sorry, I have some problem with the microphone, so that I use the chat. But my answer is are you applying these tools also to, or in the future, for other pathogens, other fungi like Spirosea oleagina or Colecotrichum, because it's
yes,
very
we have right now three different We have price either in for olive trees, and right now we have developed solutions for tomato and cotton, for citrus. So basically, we are extending the application of this technology to other crops, to other geographies, and to other pests and indeed diseases. And we are doing that because some of our customers are requiring that those new applications.
Mhm. I think it will be great and very useful for all the producer and all the farmers and so on, and also maybe for the researcher, because in some occasion it's very difficult to create relationships between the diseases and the climatological condition, and it will be a very good tool to try to apply it also for the researcher center to develop and and make it a more implementing with other things.
We in easy to see, internally we have basically uh, mathematicians, we have geographers, we have IT engineers, telecommunication engineers, but we have two PhDs. We are a technological company, so we are making a strong effort to develop technology. But at the same time, we are collaborating with different universities and research centers. We are very, very happy of having those collaborations. We believe that the interlink between private companies and research centers provide a lot of benefits for both parts, and we are fully open to have contacts with researchers and with responsibles of departments, because at the end we are pretty sure that that collaboration will enhance the development and the benefits for the final user.
Well,
Hi, can you hear me?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is Sergi. I'm working on the CNR here in Florence. I have a question regarding the model because I read the paper of Belcari in 1989, if I'm not wrong, and they use a process-based model for more or less modeling the phases of the fly of the olive fly. So more or less it's like more or less we have these peaks of captures during, I don't know, 3-4 times per year. Then they use more or less a starting date, but I don't know if your model uses a starting date for initializing the model, or with this intelligence can reach, I don't know, to simulate day by day or week by week without considering any other inputs other than climate or olive tree phenology or something like this. I don't know.
Yes, there is a significant difference in those kind of models that are mechanistic models compared to these numerical models. But in any case, obviously, anything that can be used as inputs for a mechanistic model and provides value is something that is useful for us. We are not using exactly the starting day, but at the end, as we are using the traps captures that we have had previously, obviously we are taking into account what has happened before. So basically, we are using information that they have used either. We are using as inputs for you to take into account the trap data. We are using the geography of each farm. We take into account the slope, the height, the insolation, the orientation, the variety of the tree if we have that. If not, we determine some information of the region. We are using satellite images, but not what we are capturing just now, but what we are capturing throughout the campaign. And we are taking into account weather and past and weather predictions. So it's quite complex, the number of inputs that we are using. But at the end, if you are talking about the starting point or the first capture of a fly, we don't have that as a clear input, but basically the model in certain way is taking that into account.
Thank you. Very interesting your speech.
More questions?
Well, as we are on time and very, very good, and to complete the Ricardo presentation, if you let me, I would like to do a very brief demonstration in live of the dashboard from Belgol. So they can visualize how looks the dashboard.
For sure, Javier. This is your round table.
I try to sharing my screen. One moment. Maybe you can see my screen. Ricardo?
Sorry, Javier, I was muted. Yes, we are seeing perfectly
Okay.
the screen, and the presentation is going ahead.
Okay, thank you. Well, the dashboard from Mego look at this moment this. If you see my mouse, we can see three different time scale. In the first is the historical climate, and in the next button is the seasonal forecast, and in the last is the long-term projection. You can select all, click on different button. For example, in the past and recent present, the historical climate, you can select several buttons in the tile information. Also, in dashboard, we are including a question button in order to explain what do you do in this dashboard. For example, if you select the climate information and you select Iberian Peninsula, because in Spain is Iberian Peninsula, you can select several parameters. For instance, the precipitation monthly or temperature. When you select your parameter, then you can select the year and the months. This is one type of information. Other type is bioclimatic information or bioclimatic indicator. For me, this bioclimatic indicator are the most interesting or one of the most interesting thing we do in MedGoal, because when you select this button in the select variable point, you can select different indicator. We are in the olive room, so you can read the 4 or 5 indicator bioclimatic indicator. For instance, we can select the rainfall was rain in October to May, and when select this, for instance, in the last year or in 2020, the sorry in 2019, for example, you can search by the map, and you can select the point of interest. We are in Spain. In the south of Spain is located Andalusia, and for instance, Cordoba is a one or city or one province of Andalusia region, and you can click and you see the value of the bioclimatic indication. In 2019, the rainfall in this point was more or less 315 millimeters. This is the historical climate. Then we can go to seasonal forecast. In this tab, we are doing a forecast for the next season, for the next months. As before, we can select climate or bioclimatic, and then you can select the variable. If you select bioclimatic, you can select other bioclimatic indication. For example, the day in the next summer with temperature above 14 degrees Celsius, and the dashboard do estimation in the red in three color. For instance, in red we have the above normal, in orange normal, and in white more or less below normal. This is other kind to information, and in long-term prediction the process is similar. In this case, we have climate and bioclimatic information. You must select the Andalusia, and the bioclimatic indicator are you interesting, and the interval, because in the long-term prediction we have set a near future and far future. The near future is the next decade, to middle of this century. And then at the same, you can click in a point, and the dashboard show the expected value for this point, in this case for the days with maximum temperature above 32 degrees Celsius. We expect it in the next years we have 10 or 11 days. This is important, for example, in spring, because high temperature affect, for instance, the flowering the olives. And this is all. It is very, very, um, very clicky presentation, but well, I would like to you see this tool, this prototype. And well, for me, in this moment, it's all. If you have any question.
Hi, Javier. I wrote two questions in the chat, but don't worry. The first one, it's only a question, a specific question, but it's not necessary, because I imagine that you focused on Andalusia and the Douro, so it's normal that the eastern part is not included. But for doing these forecast scenarios, how many and which of them, how many general climate models do you use? Because if we use only one model, we don't know exactly if the climate in future will be that, and we tend to do an average between different GTMs. And the second question regarding about this is about if the climate has been bias corrected or not.
The dashboard I focus on Andalusia Duro, because the project is for the coin Andalusia and Sograb in Douro. for this reason, in this taskbar show this location. The first question, sorry, but I work in the COP. I am not climate scientific, so I don't know. I can answer the first question. This question is to Barcelona Supercomputing Center, BSC. Maybe you can translate this question to the virtual stand, the virtual booth you can find in the Smart Car platform. And the second question, I am not the projection technical. It is Noah, but yes, I know the project applies the bias correction, but technical the aspect technician aspect I don't know how or what. I'm sorry.
One question, which is, have you tried to correlate the the production size that you have every year with each of these variables of climates or bio indexes with your production? I mean,
Yes, from our experience, the for example, the precipitation occurs between October to May is critical to for example, the total number of olives that the olive produce for the next campaign. We had no a very strong relationship, but because the Conno is the technical company, but we know because we work every year in the olive farm. That's bioclimatic we design in Medgold is very important or okay, but we need to keep research in this line.
Was there a difference in terms of olive quality or the quantity of olives depending on the variables that you are addressing or correlating? Like you mentioned precipitation, but like temperature, was it also critical? And so which climatic variables were relevant either for the olive quality or for the olive quantity?
Both. Medgold has created a prototype. In this prototype, because I said with the most relevant bioclimatic indices, we think affect to the production and to the quality. For example, I remember the bioclimatic. Sorry. For example, the temperature in the summer affect to the olive fly pest, and the olive fly pest affect to the quality and production. No, but if you see this bioclimatic, because in Medgold we have SU 40, SU 40, you can expect the attack of the fly pest in the Andalusia olives. So in the case the next summer, this bioclimatic indices is above normal, maybe we can expect the quality of the olive is good according to the fly pest infection. Well, after this demonstration, to close this session free from the olive room, because it's 3 o'clock is the time to finish this session. We have seen two tool that use climate service and can be applied in the olive sector to assist them with the key decision. So thank you very much, Ricardo, for addressing this interesting topic. And on behalf of MedGold, thank you, audience, for your attention and participation. And before ending, let me remind you that we can be in touch by the Swag card, where you can check the virtual stand of some partner in the project. Ricardo, you would like to say something before closing the session?
No, thank you very much for participate, for the interesting questions. I hope that this will clarify a little bit what MedGold has been supporting in the last 3 years. And basically, we think that we have opened a door at the beginning in MedGold, and right now we are really bringing solutions useful for the sector. Thank you very much.
So thank you, and thank you very much. See you soon, at least at the 10 o'clock tomorrow at 10 o'clock with the session 1 of the second day, where we will discuss about how adopting and using innovation tool in organization. So thank you very much. Bye.